It's Thursday. I mean, it's time for Tune Into Life. And this episode, we bring you The Hammer of the Gods, Immigrant Song by Led Zeppelin from Led Zeppelin 3. Let's not delay any longer, ladies and gentlemen. Have a listen, and I'll see you on the backside in about 6 minutes because you're going to have a bonus. Hear the track from Led Zeppelin 3, and then a bonus of the live version. See you later.
Drive
Okay, I've got one thing to say before we start the show. I just can't help myself, and I want to ask Robert Plant's forgiveness first. But I have to go, how soft your field so green can whisper tales of gore, of how we count the tides of war. We are your overlords, and we sweep with threshing oar. Our only goal will be the western shore. So now you better stop and rebuild all your ruins, for peace and trust can win the day despite all you're losing. Oh. Okay, like I said, forgive me, Robert Plant. I just love that song. I love that band. They were my first rock concert, actually. I was pretty spoiled in the early days. I didn't know that when you went to a rock concert that sitting in the front center was special. So for Led Zeppelin, I had front row center seats. And I was like a really young punk too. It's pretty funny. But yeah, I guess I knew a guy, you know what I'm saying? I knew a guy who knew a guy who knew a guy, and we got good tickets. And yeah. So like the first 20 concerts I went to, I was in like first row center. And I didn't know any better, you know. I'm not bragging, I'm just saying it's pretty amazing. But anyways, what can you do? I don't know. I don't know what you can do, man. Anyway. Uh-oh. I was echoing in my ear like, what? Okay, so now we're back. Let's see what people have to say. Oh, yeah. Thanks, Sandy. My friend Sandy says, I hope Robert Plant wasn't listening. Yeah, me too. Although I don't know if any of you've heard of Greta Van Fleet, but a lot of people accuse them of copying Zeppelin. I just like them. They're this little band from well, they're not a little anymore, but these youngsters from Michigan, and I don't know, they sound really good to me. One of my favorite newer bands, even though they kind of play the old stuff, you know, kind of like some bands do. They come out, they honor old stuff. Yeah. So I'll be interested to hear their new album. I haven't gotten it yet. I think it's out now. Anyways, yeah. So that's from Led Zeppelin 3, which I think, yeah, Physical Graffiti gives it a close run, but I would put Physical Graffiti and Led Zeppelin 4 a smidge under Led Zeppelin 3, because Led Zeppelin 3 came right after Led Zeppelin 1 and 2. Is that, wow, Led Zeppelin can count 1, 2, 3, 4. Then how's hopefully the song remains the same, the Physical Graffiti, and on. Anyway, they had like 10 albums. Anyway, so 1 and 2 was just doing blues stuff, their own version of blues stuff, writing songs based on the blues stuff. So that was cool. It was really good. But, you know, it was, critics didn't like Led Zeppelin 2, which I don't get. Some critics didn't like Led Zeppelin 1. Oh, which reminds me, if you haven't seen some of my posts, we're talking about heavy metal. So heavy metal, there's just like, who created heavy metal, blah, 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 blah. And was Led Zeppelin the first heavy metal band? And blah. So the genre didn't exist when Black Sabbath and Led Zeppelin and all those guys came out. And it actually was like an adjective describing their music. And it was a guy in Cream and a guy in Rolling Stone. They came out about the same time. And they used metal as in describing the sound, like metal clanging and stuff, which, you know, could be annoying. And then heavy metal. And it was actually like derogatory. It was like a negative review. And then it became the genre, which I always love. I always love Rebels. Happy Eddie Day. Explain yourself, Mr. Wayne. Is it Eddie Vedder's birthday or something? Anyway. So Led Zeppelin 3, though, it's just like 1 and 2 is great. They're great albums. I mean, Days and Confused on the first album. Since I've Been Loving You. Oh no, it's on this album. Anyways, Whole Lot of Love. Come on, one of the best rock songs of all time. Days and Confused, one of the best rock songs of all time. And then a band I was in, and also when I did solo, I covered Thank You from their first album. I really liked that. And I played it once on a cruise. And some youngsters gave me some good compliments. They said we always wanted to hear that song, but Led Zeppelin was broken up like 10 years before I started listening to music, or more. I'm like going, great, I'm old. They said, yeah, I felt like I saw that in concert. I'm like, holy crap, thank you very much. And that's not because the song was named Thank You. Okay, I just noticed that. Anyway, so Led Zeppelin 3 just was out there. It had Immigrant Song on it, Gallows Pole. Yeah, sure, they did, kind of the nod to the blues of the past and stuff, but they had some really cool, innovative stuff. The cover was awesome. If you have never seen the vinyl cover, it's got like a kaleidoscope thing, and you twirl this wheel, and it's the first album that did that. So, anyways, all things, all firsts, all cool. So what can you say? Stairway to Heaven. Yeah, thank you very much, Wayne. Wayne's like naming the most famous songs by Led Zeppelin. Oh, and then Eddie Van Halen. Okay, now I get it. So, I won't say it. Eddie and I. That's right. EVH and I. Oh, he's gone. That's why I couldn't tag. If he was still my friend, that'd be kind of weird, huh? Anyways, no. Wayne and I belong to a group called the Beast Club, and we were having a discussion a while ago. It wasn't that long ago, but it involved Eddie Van Halen. So that's why I was doing it. You are correct. Eddie Van Halen was not a member of Led Zeppelin. So, but we'll get on with the show, because if this is your first time checking in, I think actually everyone that I see that's on has been here before. But in case someone's watching on the replay for the first time, hello, hi, I can't talk. So this show is called, and who am I talking to? There's like a window, then there's outside. It's the front lawn, so it's crazy. The sun's coming down. I'm gonna move over. It's kind of hot. Hey, it's The Rock. That's the Peter Bloom, my favorite painting. Anyway, obviously not an original, because I wouldn't be talking to you right now. I'd be on a Caribbean island sipping some alcoholic beverage and lounging in the warm water. But where was I? I don't remember. So we'll get it. Oh, yeah, Tune Into Life. So it's called Tune Into Life because my life, I have a soundtrack going. Like right now, obviously, it's Immigrant Song. But when I get off this show or whatever, something else will happen, like normal life. Like I'll have dinner, and at some point during dinner, some other song will just pop into my head, and it will have some relevance to me of what's going on in my life. And my sister used to make fun of me because I would like sing when I ate cereal. I would just make all kinds of noises all day long, singing songs, relating to the songs. And then I would make up things that I was just saying myself, but put it to music. It was kind of funny and annoying at the same time. So, anyways, Tune Into Life. It's the stories behind the music. So I pick a song that means something to me, and then we analyze the story behind the song, the artist, and the album, and see if we can learn any life lessons. And we always do. So when we see we can, we always can. I'm going to pick one that we couldn't, learn a lesson from. So the first quote of today's show for Immigrant Song, Led Zeppelin, from Led Zeppelin 3. As you noticed, Jimmy Page and Robert Plant wrote this song in 1970. Yes, a long time ago. And I'd say they wrote, I want to say 80% of Zepp's songs. And then John Bonham wrote like One in a Blue Moon. And then John Paul Jones contributed too. John Paul Jones, most underrated member of Led Zeppelin. Not only was a keyboardist, a composer, an awesome bass player, but he had produced and played on with as many people as Jimmy Page did prior to Yardbirds and Led Zeppelin. So check him out. He's also produced some other bands, newer bands they've probably heard of, because he was an amazing dude. Anyways, the first quote of the day is by Tommy Lee, the drummer for Motley Crue, which I find this quote ironic, but I think it applies to Led Zeppelin and to the lessons we're going to learn today. So there was no way we were going to let this band hobble around on three legs. We chose the route that every professional actor, athlete, and musician should do: leave the legend intact and bow out at the top. So the reason I consider that ironic is Motley Crue almost left on top, I'd say a year or two or album or two earlier, and they would have done so. One of my favorite bands, by the way, but they kind of milked it, did the money. They didn't do the Kiss thing, which Gene Simmons should stop talking. So let's have a shout out for Taylor Hawkins, the drummer for Foo Fighters, who recently passed away. But Gene Simmons in an interview made a comment about the Foo Fighters, saying that rock and roll, like hard rock, guitar-driven music, is in the state it is today because of bands like Foo Fighters who play into their 50s and don't let things go. That's correct. You heard me correct. Gene Simmons said this. The man from Kiss, the band that was, I mean, I love Kiss, but they're done. I mean, they put on a great show. I've seen them live, saw them live a long time ago, but they haven't put out a great album in a very, very long time, and they should have stopped a long time ago. So him saying about the Foo Fighters is quite humorous, if you ask me. So, anyways, Motley Crue did that a little bit, but they did it much better than Kiss. And I think this applies to Led Zeppelin because Led Zeppelin was not quite at the top, but they were still there. They could have drawn an audience that they could have put out garbage and people would have bought the album. Some people say Coda was garbage. I totally disagree. And Presence is one of my favorite Zeppelin albums. That was the next to last album. That was an awesome album. It's got Achilles' Last Stand and other great songs on there. But when John Bonham died, they decided to call it quits. They didn't want to play with any other drummer. So hats off to them. That was great. Just like Def Leppard did with when they're it was a little different because their drummer didn't die. He lost an arm, but they waited for him to learn how to play with one arm prior to starting the band again. So that was pretty cool. And then Zeppelin decided to call it quits after John Bonham died. Oh, and by the way, this song, I mean, he does it all the time, but this song is exemplary to the style of the difference why Led Zeppelin is known as like thunder, heavy, hard rock. This song kind of displays that. One of the reasons is John Bonham did not play like a rather regular rhythm section, like in sync with the bass player. He accented or accentuated, whichever way you want to say it. I think they both apply. He accented the downstroke and heavy hit of Jimmy Page. If you just listen to the song, I mean, the guitar's going, and he's doing the same thing, like with the drums. And he's like on the downstroke right when the Jimmy Page is going, bong, he's going, and it's like, yeah, it just gives it an extra punch. It's pretty cool. Anyways, to get on the first life lesson here at 20 after the hour. So being the best at something does not usually last. Enjoy it while you can. Learn from it and apply that to your next thing. So you're always learning, even if you're the best. You're not gonna be the best forever, and that's just kind of the way of life. Other people come along, they dethrone you if you want to consider yourself on a throne, and then you move on and you apply what you learned. And most people who are successful and know things and get to the top in a certain field or with a certain function, they can then learn from that. And there's a process they have, a thinking process, an action process, a plan they use, and they can apply that to pretty much anything they want to do to become successful in that. So we'll get to that later about action and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, so I'd say Led Zeppelin left when they were the best in their field. And obviously other people have been known to come in better, but I don't think there'll ever be anyone close to Led Zeppelin for what they did. One of my favorite bands. They're great. And so now on to the second quote. So the second quote is from this guy, Theodore Levitt. He's an economist and he's also a professor of economics at Harvard. He's an expert in economics, and he teaches at Harvard. How interesting. Anyways, he says creativity is thinking up new things. Innovation is doing new things. So we can all think I would consider myself creative, but I think one of the things that differentiates me from other creatives is I actually do. So I'm not saying I'm better. I'm just saying everybody who accomplishes something got out of their brain and then did. So that leads to the next life lesson. And that is, think things through as best you can, but nothing ever happens unless you act. So think, do, and achieve. So you got to take action. Yeah, think about it, learn as much as you can, prepare as much as you can, but not too much. I mean, there's a fine line. You got to figure that line out. So you think of what you're going to do, you plan it, and then you go do it. And I mean, in the corporate world, I'm a program manager, project manager. That's my main gig. Do it in quality, IT, engineering, manufacturing. And yeah, I mean, that's all I do is I'm the expert at like the methods and processes, and I can lead meetings to help people do stuff. And that's what I do. I help them do stuff. I rarely become the expert in what they're doing. I actually help them kind of like log it down, write up a process and all that kind of stuff. So successful people, that's kind of what they do. It's kind of why I like this field. I mean, if I could, I'd become a rock star and I do all music and writing and films, and that's how I'd make my money. But I do that on the side because I don't make enough money and I like to eat, as you could probably tell. Anyway, so yeah, you just gotta think. Don't think too much. Do, and then whenever it's like the plan, do, check, act. So you plan, so you're thinking as much as you can to prepare yourself. Then you act, you do what you planned, and then something happens, and you kind of look at it and you go, "Oh, you know what? That's either three things can happen. It's either what you expected to happen, so then you keep going because you're successful, or something you didn't expect to happen. So then you're like, oh, okay. Now what do I do? That's not what I wanted. Is this okay? Can I still move on from here? Do I have to correct this? Do I have to change something?" And then the third thing, which drives most people nuts, is you're not sure what happened. But usually when you're not sure what happened, that is wholly because you aren't measuring or looking at the performance, or you don't know exactly what you're looking for anyway, so you couldn't measure it. Man, I look like a bright little star. Wah. Okay, so so anyways, think. Let's go back to that one. Oh no, not that one. We already seen that one. Think, do, and achieve. So yeah, thinking's great. I sometimes call PhDs piled higher and deeper, but to me, there's two different camps of PhDs. So there's a PhD that never got out of academia and just got a PhD and it's like went straight through school, never practiced it in the real world or did anything with it. And so that's piled higher and deeper degree. And then there's the people who get degrees, like they go out in industry or they go do something, and then they come to a point where it's like, wow, I think I've learned as much as I can learn by doing and acting in this industry, but this is very interesting to me and I want to learn more. And so they go out and they learn more, and then they learn as much as they can where they are with the connections they have and whatever. And then they go, you know what? I'm going to go to school and learn more deeply and then come back and apply it. So those are really doctors. To me, those are the doctors of philosophy, doctors in the field that really learn it. So those are the doers. They actually applied it and learned from it. And they probably learned more out of school than in school, but their schooling helped to propel them forward, where people that just stayed in school and are thinkers they come up with good ideas and stuff, but sometimes it's totally impractical and not reality. But that's just my humble opinion as a man with 7 degrees. So the last quote is from Dave Mustaine. Did I spell his name wrong? No. But he was an original lead guitarist of Metallica. He left Metallica after one of actually, in my opinion, their best album. He was credited with writing some of that album. And then he went and created the group Megadeth, which I like better than Metallica. But some people out there think I'm crazy, but I just do. I don't know what it is, to be honest. I have nothing against Metallica. I think I like Mustaine's voice better, and it has more melodic and stuff, and the guitars are just as technical. I don't know. I think that's why. But so moving on is a simple thing. What it leaves behind is hard. And so a lot of times people they move on and then they kind of look back and then they're focused in the rearview mirror, and that never works. So don't focus. I know, moving out of the sun. Don't focus on the rearview mirror. Focus forward. Learn what you can from your past. Execute in your present, and then you will change your future. That's what that's about. And the last life lesson is life can hit you hard, as most of us in the last 2 or 3 years. When it does, move on and create your future. So that's just a lot. I mean, I did a whole show in the past. I can't remember what song it was, but not to look in the rearview mirror and just keep moving forward. But be present. You got to be present. You got to acknowledge and feel and see what's happening right now with the people around you, with you around you, and assess what's going on, and then learn from it, and then you move on. So anyways, back to the 3 lessons. So the 3 lessons for today have been: being the best at something does not usually last. So enjoy it while you can, learn from it, and apply that to your next thing. So, and even if your next thing is like totally different, what do recruiters, people that help you resume and recruiters call it something? Oh, transferable skills. So really study transferable skills, and like you want to make a change, you want to change the industry you're in, you want to change the position, you want to change what you're doing. Look break down what you've done in the past into transferable skills. So it's like maybe, hey, you know what? I don't want to be a project manager anymore. Cool. Then don't be a project manager anymore. Oh man, Wayne's hilarious. So he said, at least we can agree on Iron Maiden. Oh, that's right. Wayne was okay. I totally forgot about that. So Wayne was the guy who gave me grief for liking Megadeth over Metallica. I forgot about that. Anyway, so yeah, transferable skills, what those are. So for example, I don't know, let's say in the past you've done technical documentation. So you're a technical writer and all you've done is technical writing. And so you want to move on and become a project manager or something that doesn't really relate to technical writer. So you have to be the creative person. You have to think of how you're going to convey that to recruiters and hiring managers. Because guess what? When I was an actor, some of the most uncreative people on the face of the planet, and I apologize if you're one of these, but are casting directors. Casting directors read the script, they work with the people they're going to be casting for, and they get locked in their mind the exact type of what they're looking for. And if you come in and you don't have the right look, or you have a different kind of swagger than they're looking for, or your voice is different, they don't even, most of the time, they don't even look at your acting. They don't, wow, this could be the greatest actor on the face of the planet. But no, I kind of wanted a Robert De Niro type. He doesn't look like Robert De Niro. In fact, one of my biggest parts I ever got when I was actor, I acted for, I don't know, 30, 40 years. Yeah, I'm that old. And one of them I got because I'm from Chicago. Hey, Chicago, you can't read it because it's Please Shop by the Sun, but this is a Chicago shirt. I love Chicago. And the first thing the casting director did, say something Chicago. I'm like, what? You know, be Chicago. We're looking like that Chicago kind of feel. Anyways, I got mad at him and I just reacted in the moment. And he goes, that's what I'm talking about. And it was nothing. I wasn't responding to his direction. I was just kind of doing, hey, what are you talking about? What, Chicago? There's millions of people in Chicago. We can, kind of that response. And he was like, that's perfect. That's what I want. And I got the job. Anyways, but think about transferable skills. So transferable skills, like if you have people skills, you know how to analyze things, you know how to take a conversation and make your whole resume about transferable skills, and then show how they apply to the job you want to be at. And then if you have to take an internship or somehow get experience, even if it's for no pay, and that just to show that you're motivated and you want to do that thing. So the second thing is think things through as best you can, but nothing ever happens unless you act. So think, then do, then achieve. And one thing I might add is after the do, assess the results. Go, I did this thing in order to affect that. This is what actually happened. Good. That's what I wanted to happen. Or, oh, wow, that's not what I wanted to happen. I wonder what the problem is. And yeah, so do that. And then the last lesson we could take from Immigrant Song. Sounds like an anniversary or anyway, no, we're not going to go there. So Immigrant Song from Led Zeppelin 3. Life can hit you hard. When it does, move on and create your future. So we all have foibles. We all have struggles. In fact, if you want to look at the Beast Club, go check out the Beast Club. We have this thing called a creative challenge. The creative challenge for this week is to talk about either through video, carousel, any mode you want to, on any social media you want to, talk about the struggles you have in the past. So we all have struggles. I like to call them challenges. And so if you have a struggle or you have a foible or you fall down, you pick yourself up, you dust yourself off, and you move on. And in between there, you learn. What did you learn? This is not what I want. Great. You know what? A lot of times I've tried to do things that I thought I wanted to do, and I fell flat on my face. Like the worst way you could fail, I failed 100%. Like I was the worst whatever I was trying to be. And one time I learned that's not what I want to do. And other times I learned, it is what I want to do. So I got to get better at it. What do I got to do? What am I going to learn? So those are the 3 lessons from Immigrant Song, from Led Zeppelin 3 and the band Led Zeppelin, of course, because that was a really creative title by the band, Led Zeppelin 3, because it was their 3rd album. Woo! Wow! That was wow! I can't believe that. Really? Led Zeppelin 3 is their third album? That's so interesting. Anyways, so well, I mean, if you look at Eddie Van Halen, which someone mentioned before, Van Halen 3 is not their third album. It's the third rendition of the band. It's when Gary Sharon, the lead singer from oh my god, Extreme, came on, and so it's the third like grouping of Van Halen. And I thought it was a good album, but it didn't do very well, so they went back to normal. Anyways, I will leave you with what I always leave you. I almost have the trademark in this. Kind of happy about that. Lots of struggles. I know. The sun is chasing me. Help me. I'm on the sun. I'm going to burn. Okay. So, what I always say is living your best life creates a better world for everyone. So, get out there, live your best life. You'll create a better world for everyone. I'm part of that world, so I'd appreciate it. I'm trying to do my best, live my best life. So, I'm helping it. Hope I'm creating a better world for you. So just go out there. Want to acknowledge the songwriters. Immigrant Song is written by Jimmy Page and Robert Plant way back in 1970. And so as I leave you all, I'll play my outro. It says why I can use music with the copyright because I'm not doing it for profit, etc. And then I will see you all next week. Oh, by the way, so next week is a new month. So thank you, Mark. We can't look at a calendar. So it'll be April, and April is grunge month. So it'll be my 4 favorite grunge songs, starting with Hunger Strike by Temple of the Dog and ending with Man in a Box by Alice in Chains. And then there'll be a Mudhoney song in there the second week. And then the third week will be, wow, I really don't remember what the third song is. Anyways, it'll be 4 grunge songs over the next 4 weeks. And after that, it'll be my favorite rap songs. And then in June, we're thinking of doing, well, we're not thinking, what we're going to do is I'm going to call it Guilty Pleasures Month. So we're going to play those songs that you think you shouldn't like, but you really do. So that, like, this is a song, I don't like it, but I know a lot of people do. Like Tony Vessel's, oh, Mickey, you're so fine, you're so fine, you're so fine, oh, Mickey. And Mickey. So if you like a song like that, let me know. We'll play those. Or Bay City Rollers or whatever. So anyways, I don't want to ruin Led Zeppelin week with that. So just remember, Valhalla, I am coming, the hammer of the gods. All right. So I'm going to play the outro. Thank you for showing up, Sandy Wayne and other lurkers. And I will see you all next week. Deer in Headlights show. Oh, here we go.